The night was supposed to be the beginning of everything. Warmth, promises, and the soft unfolding of two souls who vowed to stand together through every storm. Instead, it turned into the first crack in a wall that would one day collapse. We had just returned from the grand celebration of our wedding. Friends and family had cheered, glasses had clinked, and the world felt painted in gold. I imagined we would retreat to our new home, finally alone, to seal the love everyone else had celebrated. But as I reached for her hand, she pulled away, her face shadowed by something I didn't understand. My body, my rules. "Don't touch me," she whispered, her voice colder than the winter night outside. At first, I laughed nervously, thinking she was teasing, but her eyes were stone. The rejection struck like a blade. I had been taught to believe marriage meant intimacy, a merging of two lives. But in that moment, the promise unraveled before it began. The bitterness rose in me before I could control it. And so I answered with the only weapon I had. "My money, my rules. Don't ask me." Silence filled the room. She looked at me as if I had betrayed her, though I only mirrored the wound she had inflicted. In those words, we set the tone for what our marriage would become. Not love, not trust, but a transaction of walls and punishments. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. We lived in the same house, but as strangers. She locked herself in her bedroom most nights, while I poured myself into work, chasing wealth like a man possessed. When she wanted new clothes, I would remind her of my words. When she asked about vacations, I reminded her again. She grew colder, and I grew harder, each of us punishing the other for that night. But betrayal rarely arrives in the thunder. It sneaks in with whispers. One evening, I returned home earlier than usual. The house was quiet except for the faint hum of laughter echoing from her room. I knocked, and when she opened the door, her phone slipped from her hand, her face pale. The name glowing on the screen wasn't mine. I didn't need to ask who he was. The late-night messages, the distant looks, the sudden burst of happiness when she thought I wasn't watching, they all aligned into one truth. She had found warmth in another man's arms. When my coldness had driven her, I wanted to rage, to demand answers, to tear the house apart. But instead, I stood frozen, replaying her words from our wedding night. My body, my rules. Yes, her body was hers, but what of my soul? What of the nights I stayed awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering why I wasn't enough? What are the sacrifices I made to give her the life she dreamed of? Did my rules mean nothing? The betrayal didn't end there. With every secret meeting, every lie she told about visiting friends, the gap widened. When I confronted her, she didn't deny it. Instead, she looked at me with eyes that no longer carried guilt, only resentment. "You made this marriage a prison," she spat. "You held money over me like a weapon. You withheld love when I needed it most. Don't look at me like I'm the only one who betrayed us. You betrayed me first." Her words tore through me. Maybe she was right. Maybe the night I mirrored her cruelty, I had started this chain of ruin. But even if I was guilty of coldness, she was guilty of the final strike. The man she chose wasn't richer, wasn't more handsome, wasn't even more successful. He was simply present. He gave her the affection she had denied me, the softness we had both withheld. And that was enough for her to burn our vows to ash. I didn't leave her immediately. No, betrayal doesn't always end in clean breaks. For months, we lingered in that twisted arrangement. Me, too proud to admit defeat. Her, too fearless to hide her affair. We were a spectacle of two broken people, bound not by love but by stubbornness. The night I finally walked away, I didn't take much. Just my clothes, my documents, and the last fragments of my pride. As I stood at the door, she didn't try to stop me. She didn't beg, didn't cry. She only whispered, "I hope you find someone who won't turn love into rules." Her words echoed long after I left. I replayed every moment, the laughter of our courtship, the sparkle in her eyes when she said, "I do," the cold dismissal on our wedding night, the venom in my own reply. Perhaps we had both been wrong. Perhaps love should never have been reduced to ownership or rules. But betrayal has no cure. Once trust is broken, even understanding cannot rebuild it. I had given her my name, my home, my life. She had given her heart to someone else. Now, when I look back, I don't see a marriage. I see two people who turned their love into a battlefield, where every word was a weapon and every silence was a scar. My body, my rules. Don't touch me. My money, my rules. Don't ask me. 2 sentences. That's all it took to destroy everything. And in the ruins, I learned this. Betrayal doesn't begin with another man or another woman. It begins with two people who forget that love is not about rules. It is about surrender.